So you've talked about your musical background and experience. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you were doing before you applied for the traineeship?
Yeah, so I've been before the scheme. I consider myself a musician, and I go into schools and I teach and I do my own seminars and all that, and I also teach on a dance course. And for me and my art form, it's not really been boxed. The visual element, the sound element, the movement, and then also adding the tech are all embedded into one thing. So that's what I do. And I was still a lecturer in African dance and music and tradition. My role prior to that in the traditional family back home was the custodian of culture. So that meant that I believe in myself that I have got a wealth of knowledge in my own culture and the way it needs to be portrayed, or the way to contemporize it in this, I'm far away from home again, to a new audience, but also bearing in mind that still being the custodian means I need to pass it on, and it's not stuck in what, it's not frozen. It's dynamic, and it needs to travel and change and find other ways of dealing with it. And that's what I have been doing. Recorded and created few albums and worked with my mom, my dad, who are all musicians. But this is all in the traditional West African high life music and other traditional music forms.
Great, thank you. So kind of thinking about the traineeship and your year with us at Orchestras Live, it's been a delight to work with you, and we are very pleased that you did submit your application to be Trainee Music Leader in the end, because it's been great to get to know you and as a musician and a person over the last year. So could you tell us a little bit about the opportunities that the Trainee Music Leaders get, the types of community music projects and groups you've maybe worked with during the year?
Yeah, well, the first opportunity is for around this time. And I think we've now, previously, we just think we need to get it back. Now, when you look back at it, well, we took that time for granted, that even for people to believe that, the first opportunity is the belief in me that I am able to, I belong here. Because belonging is one huge thing in my art form. Because also I am here, and it either has to be a contemporary form which people know about, or a pop version of it. But my specialty is in the traditional form, and I always will want to go back there, bring it back up before we start building on it, because I have a way of working where I think that if you don't know the roots of it, whatever you build on top of it doesn't have any foundation, it will collapse, that kind of thing.
Very true.
So that whole belief that I belong there was really an opportunity, the first opportunity that I got to be accepted onto the scheme. The next one is being able to see the music leaders that were training us in action, and the approach that they took. They were all music leaders, and they are all fantastic people. But then you then get to see that, okay, we're not advertising ourselves to be these big people here and there. That we are all creatives in one room, and we are all working together on this. They were bringing their lived experience of being music leaders into the room, and we were having to explore which one applies to us, which one speaks to us, and which one we are able to take forward. And also, the next opportunity was the other trainee music leaders that I had in my year. They were really fun to be with, and some of them could read the music, some of them couldn't, and there was a big laugh. So I didn't feel excluded, that I was only coming in from one person that couldn't, when the sheet is in front of me, I cannot read it. But it was rather making the music. How do we approach this? And one thing that I learned from everyone there is that look, we are here to have a good time. And there was a constant reminder that we are not teachers, even in the settings and places that we are being put into. We are still artists and we are still musicians. And the influences that we gather around, what do we do with it? It's another opportunity that made me think about a lot of how even breaking that barrier and being part of the scheme has even already started widening my scope of the way of thinking and approach to my music already. That is not a thing. So then there is the question of what is tradition, because over time it keeps changing and all that. And but then there is the core elements that needs to be there. And then there is the other question of who is the artist? As an artist, what is also my influences and where do I fit into the bigger picture and everything? So the collaboration from the other trainee leaders was really good.